Well, good afternoon, fellow BJ8 owners. If you're watching this video, you probably got here because you did a search and have been looking for how to install a stainless steel muffler on a Austin Healey 3000 BJ8. Reason I say that is I recently bought this system. It's the Tourist Trophy system. Here's the ad that came out this summer. This is June 2015. It's a nice little system. It was on sale this round for about $650, $662, regularly $850 for the stainless steel system for the BJ8 3000. I ordered it as well. I ordered the skid plate for the unit. This was the actual invoice of my purchase, and if you were looking at it, I would say if you're going to put one on, it's probably a good deal and it looks really good. My video today is not to show you how to install, but to give some information about some of the issues about the installation. If you receive this thing, or if you order, you'll receive a box. It's full of all the parts you need. You'll get all the kits. Order all three of the kits, the front, center, and rear installation kits. They're about $85 a piece, but I guarantee that is worth having because they have all the parts that you're going to need in order to get this job done properly. Now, there is one issue I'd like to bring up, and that is I've called Moss, and if you've ordered one of these things, you've called Moss, and you found that you got this nice muffler system, about 200 parts, and not a peep about how to install it. The answer I got from Moss, nice guys of course, was that, oh, well, you could take it to a muffler shop. We recommend that. Well, if you're like me, you don't have this Austin Healey to go taking it to shops to install. That's the same answer I got on my tonneau cover, my top and everything else, but we need to know how to do it ourselves. So Moss Motors, please put an installation instruction in this package. It's rather ironic that for the skid plate, which consists of a plate and two bolts, they do provide you a very, very nice installation instruction sheet, which I think most of us could handle without it. Two bolts, two washers, and two nuts, and 2 pages of instructions on how to install it. Well, I'll mention this as we go through the thing, but the main thing I wanted to do today was show you the various pieces of the installation as I went through it and tell you some of the pitfalls that I encountered. First off, the tools you're going to need. Primarily, and very importantly, you need an 18-inch 3/8" extension. Everything in this kit is 1/2" nuts and bolts, so a 1/2" set. I found that obviously your sockets are important. A little wobbly U-joint important, and the extension 1/2" is important, especially when you're doing the manifold nuts, the studs up there. They provide the brass nuts that you're going to need for the installation. These good old vice grips, needle nose, are really kind of important to have because you will find that as you're doing work with these steel springs and tightening down the bolts, sometimes it's nice to clip the vice grip onto the edge of it to tighten it down. It makes it a lot easier. As you're going through this thing, I threw out a few other little items. First, good jack. This is a Harbor Freight job, 2.5 ton. You can pick these up for about $70, $80 on sale. Watch the sales. Great little jack. You see it's a very, very low profile, and if you're an Austin Healey man, you know you need a low profile to get under this cotton picker. This guy's got about a 2.5" and it'll go into the front real nicely. In addition, you're going to need a scissors jack, or I found it very useful to just have your scissors jack out of your car, and an extra jack, which you're going to use as you install the various components of this system. The only help I got from Moss was the guy said, yeah, just put it together, put on the head, and then just put it all together loosely. Don't tighten anything down. Good advice. You don't want to tighten anything down until you're all assembled. But in order to do that, you're going to have to suspend or lift the various components as you're attaching it to the hangers as you go along. The other thing I have is the oils and the grease gun out here. This is an opportunity for you and all of us to actually grease some nipples and studs you didn't even know existed by having all the wheels off and up pretty high on the jack stands. I was able to do a really good maintenance job. So while you got the car up, go ahead and do that. The other thing obviously you need is some good solid jack stands, or if you're a real rich dude, you have a place you can work on it with a lift. That's all real well and good. That's mostly the information relative to the tools you'll need. Oh, in addition, you'll need just grab a few bricks and pieces of wood to act as spacers as you're lifting the various components up the line. Now, in the absence of any kind of instructions, your best bet is the Moss catalog as far as kind of figuring out what's going on. Here you have the instruction sheet, or just the parts order blow up, the exploded view of the various things. And you can see there are a whole bunch of boxes that have what's in the various kits, the forward, the rear, and the center kits, as well as the descriptions. I found this extremely useful because when you break open these kits and find some 200 different parts, it's really nice to know what the heck some of these things are. And so that this is your best bet on looking and trying to figure out this little puzzle of installing this muffler system. Now I'm going to go down the line here and show different parts of it and mention some of the things that were of interest and would be of interest to you as you're installing. It might save you a little bit of time. In my typical manner, this 3-hour job took about 2.5 days, but that's the old car work. The first of the positions you're going to be working on is installing the head pipes, the header pipes off the exhaust manifold. The kit does come with all of the brass, excuse me for the bumping around here, all the brass nuts that you need. The studs, this is where the 18-inch extension comes into play, the wobbly U-joint and the 1/2-inch thing. Fortunately, mine came off swimmingly. I have an air gun, an air wrench, again from Harbor Freight, and that thing was magical. It just zipped this stuff right off. I was afraid I might bust or lose a stud. I didn't. I did order a package of studs in my order, didn't have to use it, and I'm glad I didn't, because if you were to break a stud or were not able to get the things off, you've got a whole new level of complications you have to deal with. So this is straightforward. Put this on. The flex things sort of bend down, and it's a non-problem. You put the next section on, which is the pipes themselves, the forward mufflers. They slide on, and there are some clamps. Prior to putting them in position, you install the installation kit. Using the installation kit, you'll see right up in here, there's the mounting hanger up there, a little rubber deal. They provide all those in the kits, and they're quite nice. Let me see if I can get a light on here properly without blinding everyone. And so you can see these mount on two studs that are built into your car. It's a rubber thing with a L-shaped connector that connects on here. This is the skid plate, that magical thing that has 2 pages of instructions. You can install it at this stage loosely. I put everything together and came back and installed the skid plate using the bolts they provided. But you can do that either way. Moving down the line, the next set of hangers is right here. It's part of what they call the center group. And you can see it consists of these stainless steel U-jobs and a bar that goes across. Pretty straightforward. Now there is one important thing I forgot to mention, and don't you forget it. As you're going down this thing, there are clamps, particularly these right up here, that are installed. Put them on as you're installing. Don't wait and have the whole thing on and then have to come back and do it, because this is pretty hard stainless steel. The clamps have to be then sprung open and then sprung closed. That's what I had to do. If you'll simply install these things, look at how you put them on as you go down and then put them on the hanger, you're way ahead of the program. These are half moon jobs, so there's no big worry there. The only ones that really give you any worries are the ones that are on the forward part of the muffler. Coming on down to the rear, very straightforward down here. There are two of the cushion pads. Grab the light again. The hangers, if you will. Oops, there went my light. The hangers are located up in this section. Two rubber hangers. All of this is with your kits. This is all stainless steel except for the bolts and these spacers. You have to kind of figure out which spacers to use. There are 3 different sizes, and these happen to be the ones that were right. You can got to get an idea which ones they are. I guess these are about 2 inches by the amount of clearance you have. Those are smaller. We look in here. These hanger pads, the rubber with the rubber sound absorbers on them. On my car, they looked pretty good. That was Baby 66, and I said, I'll leave it on there. But better judgment prevailed. I took them off, and I'm glad they did, because when you get them off, you'll find that they're typically weather-beaten, worn, and oftentimes pulled down pretty badly. We're going to go to the back of the car now, and this was the trickiest part. Coming from the center, from the left, the center muffler hanger over there, there are two on my car, on this 66, there are 2 studs coming out from the lower portion of the trunk. Here and here. They're pretty munged up. I did have to use, I chased the threads on one of them, but basically there's a bar of a 304 stainless that goes across, that hooks to the 2 studs, and you do your hanging onto the bar that goes across. This is not clear at all in the parts diagram or whatever else. There is one L-shaped bar that I managed to put on the back side after much figuring out, and then I took one of the old hangers that was on the car right here, you can see it. Took this baby, actually the new ones, I had one spare. I guess there's another. Some of these models have more than one of these things. You can see they've got this rubber portion, 2 bolt holes, and then this that it hangs from. I took the L portion and cut it off of one of my old hangers and found the proper position and drilled out a spot for this one to go in. So this one I made, I drilled this hole. There's some rubber grommets that come with this kit, and this mounted up very, very nicely after it's all said and done. So I have a good solid and a quiet mount, I believe. After it's all in and I have to go back through and tighten up a few more things, that's about it. So 3 things I guess I'd say. Be sure to put these little clamps on as you go along. Don't get yourself caught up like me and forget about putting them on. The tools you need, good safety with your jacks, and good luck. If you have any questions, pop a note on there and I'll tell you what happened. But as you know, working on these babies, each one takes a little backyard engineering, and I'm sure if you've got a Healey, you'll handle it okay. The unit looks pretty nice. I hope this has been useful to you. Thanks a lot for watching. Good luck.